All right, I think we're live. Or I guess we've been live for
Awesome.
a while now, but we're now
We're
actually
talking
here
now.
chatting. Yep. Hey,
We're
Eric.
talking. Hey, Adam. Nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
How you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm doing fine myself. I'm kind of getting over a cold though, which is eh, never
That's
the
not
best.
good.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, anything exciting going on with you?
Um, Nothing too exciting. I mean, I've
You playing the Pokemons?
Pokemon Sword and Shield. I have
Yeah.
actually played it a little. It's fun.
Oh, hey, Captain Timberlake. Yeah, I've played a little of it. Not much though.
I'm not
Are
much.
you?
I'm not much of a gamer anymore.
No, it's hard to find the time for it.
Yeah. Like,
But I feel like so many things, even in this hobby as well, like you you're inclined to buy things, but it doesn't buy the time for you to do them necessarily. it's a
not
lot
even
easier to
close.
it's a lot easier to buy it than to go through and
Hey,
actually
Watchwania.
do a thing, or even if you start it to actually play
Hey,
it.
Johnny.
Yeah, oh, hey, nice to have everybody here. Which is interesting now that it's coming up on Black Friday again. That means it's been about a year since Blackstone Fortress was released. And that was something like we actually got a copy and we actually played that. Like we completed the whole campaign. I mean, admittedly, we didn't paint anything, but we did assemble it and we did
Hey,
actually
boss.
play that. I like can't believe it.
No, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, so that was something that was surprisingly successful.
Yeah. Well, Black Friday coming up quickly. That probably means where there's a good chance lots of people will be buying a lot more stuff that they're not going to do anything with.
Yeah, although there won't be as many people getting the Sisters of Battle as they had wanted to, right?
That's probably
Which
true. Yeah.
I, I guess we can talk about that in a little bit. But with that in mind, anyone in the chat here, did any of you pre-order the Sisters of Battle army, and or at least want to or attempt to order it?
Yeah.
So Vox, it's nice to hear you're getting one, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Hopefully the rumor's true. Yeah, we'll probably touch more on it, but like we were very unsuccessful.
Yeah, we
Um,
sure were.
yeah, it is sort of expensive, and but I guess we've never been that big on trying to get the value out of our money, but we should be, but we really haven't. But nah, we weren't successful at all. My local hobby shop also doesn't have enough copies such that I could get one either. So,
Yes, I don't know if we'll actually.
12 of us in store tried to pre-order. 4 people successfully ordered, sold out in 3 minutes after release. That's good. Yeah, I think that whole notion is that I think a lot of people um encountered.
Experienced, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Timberlake, I understand that thought that it's like, yeah, it's sort of hard to justify that amount of money if you're not like, don't
Making
want to
no
like
money.
actually build an army.
Yeah.
That certainly goes for us as well. And particularly with the announce of the multi part kits, like you said, Johnny, there. Which I guess that's probably later on in this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about some of those sister models. But I think in general, surprisingly, I think the multi part sister models look even better than the ones in this box, which is surprising because I feel in a lot of these sorts of less multi pose boxes, Dark Imperium, Shadow Spear, those things,
Shadow
where they
Spear,
yeah, where they introduce those newer types of models, and then they release a multi-part kit later. Oftentimes, the multi-part kit is worse, at least in the terms of Primaris, in terms of having like really awkward poses and surprisingly not much more variety than the static posed ones. But
Yeah.
interestingly, it seems to be different in this for the sisters, so that's actually encouraging to see. But
I guess before
well,
we get too much into that, we may as well just start off with our hobby happenings thing and talk about
yeah,
what we've been working on. I guess in terms of what I've been working on, I think I talked about this a little last week, but I'm continuing to work on one of these. I guess I'll call it true scale Space Marines, based on the cast of the Marine that I had made, sculpted and made a while ago. And I don't know, it's going okay. I've been in the process of trying to reposition and pose the legs, which um, has been a lot of work, and I still have a lot of work left to do on it. I've been working on experimenting with like an SMG sized bolter, which I think is going pretty well. Um, I
yeah. No,
also
I think it looks good. It's based on one of the Enforcer ones, and
mhm,
like I think it's interesting because like just looking at it in isolation next to his fist, it's like, oh, that's kind of small. But then when you like put it in relationship to the Marine itself, which is gigantic,
yeah,
um, it actually looks like a pretty good size, which is hilarious considering how this Marine is like basically the size of a Primarch, so substantially larger than uh, even the Primaris models. And this bolter is smaller than even the generic Space Marine bolters. I mean,
yeah,
not
no, it's
wildly
interesting.
smaller, but I
This
guess one of the main things about this one, though, I feel is it's just not as tall,
Yeah, that I think does
which
a
is good.
lot. Yeah. Um, this Marine I actually think is gonna be a librarian, so I started laying down some like cabling and stuff on his armor. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, we'll see how it goes and where it takes me. Hey, Lord Sylvania says
Or
someone in Croatia has a sister battle box listed on eBay for 2,100 US dollars. It's obviously not a
what a
scam.
deal! What a deal! Like, just get right on that.
Wow, that's bad. That's
Yeah,
bad.
that's not good.
No,
That's
but yeah,
not
it's
good at all.
interesting. Like lots of people pre-ordered the stuff, and then with I think the sole purpose of just putting it up on eBay, which is a little unfortunate. But
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if you could order multiple copies or if they restricted to one per person.
I heard that it was restricted to one per person, so that's an
So
improvement.
I almost think like I could see some of the people who are kind of scalping with it. Like I could almost see like they went in there wanting it, but then when they realized that like it literally sold out in like less than 5 minutes, it's like, you know what?
Yeah,
I could probably just sell this, like, so that it wasn't even that
they didn't
like
like
they
want.
went in
Yeah,
with just like, oh man, GW really misinterpreted this, which I mean, I don't know. They say they did, but
I don't know. I imagine they did make a ton of copies of it, but they have a ton of different official stores that they're trying to supply, and then on top of that, like other local hobby shops. So it, and as with everything, a company, they would much rather produce fewer copies than like way overestimate, and then just have droves of it just sitting on sitting in their warehouses and
yeah.
shelves and stuff. So
Vox Wow that someone claimed they got like 30. That's something.
Yeah, that's true.
That's something. But it's an interesting thing, like how they have to try to figure out the amount of copies to make of things, this and that. But it still seems like they had to know this was gonna be pretty popular in the sense that like they've literally been hyping it for over a year.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's very true. So I guess yeah, that's been my progress on the Black Templar. I've also been doing some work on like an arcoflagellant model, which I think I showed some pictures of that last time as well. But here, like I've been in the process of like doing like a head splice to kind of have more of the classic like Damien arcoflagellant look. Um, this is still at kind of an early stage. Like I have to add probably some bionic eyes and other cabling and stuff, but the general foundation is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I'm hoping that I guess this conversion I'm hoping won't take too long. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, I guess Wartsylvania, you're right. Like the fact that they do have to do this year, like at least a year more in advance, does certainly make putting some of this stuff together harder. Admittedly, though, literally every one of these box sets they release, the same thing happens. Or practically every
I mean
single
that's
one
true,
of them.
but they probably also based on that knew that, and then probably made even more. Um, so
But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really, I don't think it hurts their business a whole lot. Like,
no,
they make sure it all sells out so they don't have stock of it. And it just kind of builds hype and excitement. So, like, I don't think they care a whole lot at the end of the day.
yeah. But yeah, we'll discuss this a little more shortly. We don't have too much hobby related stuff we're working on to discuss, I guess. Eric, I think you've
I did what I said I would try to do last week. I said I would try to finish painting these trees such that I could stop talking about them. And I did it. Yeah, I actually finished all 5 of them. I just like sprayed a small amount of matte varnish on them, and like I'm calling them done. So I did it.
Good. That's impressive. They look good.
Yeah, I feel I could always spend more time on them or whatever, but it's like, like I just want to finish them. I feel they look good enough for playing games with and such. So
I feel we should try and get some more tufts of different color grass and stuff and add them because I think like if you had kind of almost like a lush green meadow type thing,
yeah,
that I think
I added
a nice contrast to the bone monoliths of sorts. But they look good.
Yeah, I added a bunch of little kind of tufts
so there
on
is
there,
some of that
but
darker.
I feel it would be nice to add some more. One thing that's sort of hard with using them, they're very flat, and it's hard to get them to like stick on anything that isn't flat themselves. So I feel they're maybe slightly harder to work with than I would have initially anticipated.
Like the tufts that you're working with. Yeah, so we can look for other ones.
Yeah, but I mean they're good, and the ones that I use are like a whole bunch of different sizes and such. So like I mean they're nice. They're nice, but ultimately I'm just glad they're finished. Yeah, thanks, Wartsylvania. It's nice to hear that they actually look like bone. Like it was interesting because honestly, this is like the first terrain I've ever actually painted, and I tried to use like an airbrush to do a lot of kind of the base work to kind of do some of the initial gradation. of color and that sort of thing. And then a bunch of, I guess, some dry brushing and such with like a bunch of different sort of bone colors and whatnot, and some oil washes and things of that nature. And like, yeah, I feel I'm pretty happy with them, but mainly I'm just happy they're finished.
Yeah, no, they'll look
And
good. They'll look good
it's
as
gotten,
terrain.
yeah, no, it's gotten like maybe I'll try to paint some other of the like the plastic terrain that I have from Warcry and the
Yeah,
Sector Mechanicus stuff. I might try to paint some of that, like maybe experiment with some like chipping medium. I feel maybe something neat could be done with that, but I
yeah,
haven't done a huge amount with that either. Which it sort of makes me want to try to get whenever they release some of the Zone Mortalis terrain, like separately, not contained within that $300 box set. It would be nice to get a little of that,
yeah.
and maybe I don't know if anyone in the chat here has gotten some of the plastic Zone Mortalis tiles they released, but I feel they look fairly nice. And I at least was watching some like YouTube videos of people talking about them, and it seems that they're like only about as thick as a 40K base, so they're not like really thick and like overly heavy, which I feel this seems kind of nice.
Yeah.
And like the Zone Mortalis terrain, the plastic terrain, it like slightly snaps into the or sockets in a little bit into the terrain such that or the tiles, I mean, such that they don't slide around a lot, which seems like this seems kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
But I don't know. I could see them being something that they stop making.
That's true.
I mean, I assume the main terrain they won't, but I could see those tiles they might not do much of. But I guess the fact that they're plastic and stuff, maybe they would want to maintain that. I don't know. But that's that. That's that.
Yeah.
I guess one thing that I think it was just this evening, the Hobby Vices sent out like the kind of set of emails if anyone is participating in that like hobby Hobby Vices Secret Santa thing. So that's kind of neat. So we got paired with somebody, so we have to start thinking about what we can put together to send out to somebody. So I mean, I feel that's fun.
Yeah, no,
sort of a fun thing to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
All right, so I think that's largely
yeah,
our
I think so.
progress this week or this past week. So I guess we may as well just move into talking about the Sister of Battle stuff, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like right after, like the day after last week's stream where we talked a little bit about the stuff in that box, they like immediately went and showed more stuff. Some of the multi-part stuff.
They had a post. They I guess they tried to warn people that if they wanted this limited edition set, that make sure you know when it's being released, which was good. That I'm sure helped at least some people. And then immediately, I feel in some regards it was just like, oh, they know not everyone's going to be able to get it, so they decided to show a whole bunch of other pictures of future models that are going to be released, which I think I was actually pretty excited to see a lot of this stuff. Chief of which were the actual like standard Sisters of Battle, the squad itself. And this I was pretty impressed with it. Like I think in general, um this we'll say multi-part squad, I think looks even nicer than the squad that comes in that box
Yeah.
set itself. Mainly in that
Hey,
like
Lifeboat. Nice to
the
have you here.
the poses and such are like they're better, or they're not. Maybe not all of them are better, but some of them are not quite as awkward. Particularly the like Sister Superior, because the Sister Superior in the that boxed army is really awkward looking, and the one you see here looks a lot better.
Yeah, I think she's pretty neat. She's and this one and a bunch of them in this box are actually clearly designed to sort of mimic the poses of some of the older Metal Just Goodwin ones. Like the Sister Superior here is very similar to like the
Yes,
original Sister Superior in the first like 5-man metal box set. Like that
yes,
same sort of pose, which I think is pretty neat. One thing, her like combi weapon is pretty stupid looking.
yes. Her
Like,
Combine Bolter flamethrower is awful. Like, and I think they've had Combine Flamers that were kind of similar to this before, but it's really bad. Like,
like why would you put the flamer portion, which like isn't enough to continue a use, first of all, on top, completely blocking the ability to aim it, even if you wanted to? I
and I mean,
I
the
mean,
thing on top of that, like most flamethrowers and stuff, they're not really that big. The thing that takes up the most space is like the fuel tank. And most of the time, like that wouldn't necessarily have to be on um, the main part of the weapon itself. And particularly in this case, the placement of the fuel canister is just idiotic.
yeah, it's a pretty dumb design.
It just doesn't
But I
make
mean,
sense.
you don't have to use it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Um,
She actually has like the holster she has is actually like attached with some like belts and stuff. So I feel it's like actually designed to have like sort of a sensical way that it could be attached, which I think is cool.
she has a scabbard for her power sword as well, which is neat. And another thing that I thought was cool, we'll have to wait to see like more pictures of the squad and the sprues themselves, but to me it looks as if um, the different bodies, or at least the different leg types, they have different body armor, like to the point where you might actually even have a choice between the more classic Sister of Battle, like body armor, and then more of a kind of like a leather like body glove esque thing that's not
Yeah, I think
accentuating the breasts.
I
Like
feel it looks a little better. Yeah, I don't know, Johnny, why you wouldn't want to have that right in front of your face. I just don't know. But
like
yeah, Wardsylvania, it would be easy to remove, but I feel it would still look bad. But I don't know. I just wouldn't use it at all. It's fine. I think the most interesting thing is that it does look like there are a lot of unique poses, and it's sort of hard to tell. Like I kind of wonder if some of the legs are the same, but it's just if you use a different. Well, no, maybe not though.
well, so to
I
me, like
want.
we were talking about, you might have a choice between different bodies. Like the one that it's easiest to see on is the one pulling the pin out of the grenade with her teeth. Like there, she does not have the traditional Sister of Battle armor. Um, but if you look at other models, there are other models that look to have the same legs that she does, but the front body and like the loincloth itself look different. So it might be you have sets of legs, and then based on like what body you choose, that like sort of differentiates them and makes them look a little more unique. Um,
Yeah.
but we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, um, there looks to be
Yes.
a lot more variety here than um, what I was at least initially anticipating. And
Yeah,
most
and
of the
because
poses themselves, they're pretty natural looking. Even the ones that are kind of like their legs are spread and they're kind of bracing themselves don't really look like the standard Space Marine squat. So I'm pretty happy with them.
yeah, no, but I mean, there might be some like that are partially doubled, but at least like the Sister Superior one's different. The one with the banner because they're standing on that rock that seems to be
Yeah.
unique. The one with the helmet, like the visor up, that's also standing on a rock, seems like is different. And even the ones that are like with their legs kind of apart, that like Timberly you're mentioning, are very similar, but at least the robe portions look different. So like it's hard to tell. I mean, it could be that the legs, like the digital design was very similar and they just did some very slight changes. But I don't know. Regardless, it's not like the Primaris intercessors that they just had like five obvious legs and nothing else. Like they made more. It seems like there was a lot more effort here than the addition of different like body armor. There seems to be a huge variety in heads, whether they're helmeted or different haircuts or like just bald or like shaved. Like so all that, like I feel there's a lot more options here than we're accustomed to at least now. So I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I would hope that they have enough of the helmeted heads to like equip like each of the squad members with one, and I feel they probably will. Um,
Yeah.
and
So
then
yeah,
on,
yeah, it just looks good. Um and yeah, and as Adam you mentioned a little earlier too that like a lot of them like they don't have this like really wide stance. Like a few of them do a little bit, but it like actually it looks natural and like how they're shooting their bolters and such. It's not just wide for the sake of it. And then there are a bunch that are just like walking or striding forward. Like I don't know. I feel all of them look pretty natural. Like the one pulling the pin out of the bolt or out of the grenade with a bolter, that's similar to one of the old metal models.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty impressed with them, and I feel if you do miss out on the army box, like the fact that there seems to be so many options and such in this, like I feel it's you could feel pretty happy just to get these. So
yeah, no, I think so. Um, and then on top of that, they also, kind of to my surprise, they also showed a fair amount of stuff. But what I thought might have been most exciting is they showed a a new multi-part like Canon S model, and I was pretty surprised to see like they actually have a lot of different potential options for the model, and it sort of makes me reminisce to like some of the old multi-part plastic Space Marines. Um,
if there's that old captain model,
yeah, and this kind of reminds me of that, because from just the picture that they showed, there are at least four different heads, all of which are pretty different. They have lots of different like pistols and hand-to-hand combat weapons. They have different, at least two different types of like front body armor. Um,
Yeah, and the one, if at least the stuff they're showing here, none of those are like the traditional
Yeah, Sister of
boob
Battle, like
plate stuff.
boob plate. Yeah, which is neat.
And like it would be super cool if these two designs, if they had those for all the regular sisters and you could choose that, like that would be really nice.
Yes.
But it's nice to see that they could do that and show like, hey, they're keeping the general Sister of Battle's design, but also introducing some other ones that also make sense and maybe look even better. And just having different weapon types, like that's nice. All the different the heads, they're literally a lot of them, one with a helmet, without, different ages, like different ethnicities, like that's great, like really nice. And I feel this is doing a good job of making a multi-part kit, but still keeping like having a nice pose, but still giving you options to do stuff with. Because like I feel a bunch of GW's old kind of Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine multi-part kits they were okay, but I don't think they were ever that great. And I feel this looks like it's skirting the line between multi-part and like posing it in a way that looks good. Like, so I feel it's just a nice balance of giving you options, but then
Yeah. I will say, like, I don't really like almost any of the weapons. The one that looks by far the worst, I feel, is the chainsword.
yeah,
Like,
it's really weird. It's like it looks really just super top heavy and really just gaudy and
yeah, like
overly cumbersome.
the handle or the pommel itself looks pretty good to me, but then everything past that looks ridiculously bad.
I think the
Um,
power sword looks nice,
the power sword
or
looks the
relatively
best.
nice.
Yeah.
And the main one they're showing with like the crossbow bolter thing, it looks like she might have a sheath sword on her back. So I mean that could be
Hmm.
nice. Like maybe because it would be great if they would have like a scabbard or something.
Yeah, I like the iron halo that she has. Like that I feel could be a good could work well on a lot of different things.
Yeah. Oh, hey Eli, nice to see you here. Yeah, and I do agree, Eli. I think the torch does look nice, like, and the like haft of that is like the thinnest of all of them, and looks like the most natural in that regard. So I don't know, but regardless, I feel it's nice to see that, well, in some sense too, that they have like two plastic Canonist models. They have the one that is coming in the army box, which looks nice, but then they made an additional one that has like even more options. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's good. She doesn't have high heels. That's good.
Yeah, like none of them do. They also showed some other like characters and such. Like there's this one holding this huge banner that
It's pretty interesting.
yeah, is interesting. Like
The banner is literally like an ivory
Sister of
sister that's
Battle.
like a life size sister of battle. Like what an interesting thing.
I think
But I
the
think
thing
overall she looks neat.
the thing that I think is the funniest is just all to me it looks as if she has a like a holstered bolter on her side. And that sort of itself kind of just shows you how the bolters are too big because boy does it look weird.
It looks almost like that's like a sister of battle sized heavy bolter.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But yeah,
Um,
Wartsvania, yeah, like the banner, it was like that would be too hard to reasonably hold or do anything with.
I mean, even if it had like stabilizers and stuff in it to make it like less heavy, like it's still just
It's
I
really,
feel it's just a ceremonial thing.
yeah.
We'll say
I
it's
mean,
that.
it looks good enough. Like I feel you could put it on like terrain or something, and but
Yeah,
I feel if I would want to use the model, I would probably change it to something a little less ostentatious.
yeah. They also have what is this one even called? The one holding the scrolls and stuff.
I have no idea. With the little like, is it like a gravity pulpit sort of thing? It's interesting looking. I mean, I feel a bunch of these character models look pretty nice, and they're just sort of continuing with this over the top nature. Candles on there, all these parchments and such, and they're
Most of
maybe
which doesn't
slightly
make a whole
ridiculous.
lot of sense, but I feel it fits pretty well with the whole
The
crazy,
dialogue is,
like the whole
yeah,
kind
I
of
think
crazy religious fanatics of sorts. And like, so overall, I feel the stuff will add a lot of um,
mhm.
conversion opportunities and just components for all sorts of different people. And like, you could use
Yeah,
a
and I
lot of the
feel,
stuff for like word
yeah,
bearers and stuff for
yeah, it would be
conversions.
easy to kind of convert and do your own thing with it. So like, it's nice to see some of these more like preacher like models, which hopefully they will actually release some new like missionaries and things like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, they look good. Um, and then I guess one of the more surprising things they showed was what I think is to be the special character that kind of leads the um
I think the martyred lady, maybe this is the martyred lady.
yeah and she's kind of riding this floating like almost like this floating like what even like a stand or of sorts like it sort of reminds me of something you'd see in like Judge Dredd or something. You see this big double-headed eagle, um, and it's pretty outrageous, but um, I
I
think
kind
I
of like
kind of
it
like it. Yeah, I like it.
for like what it is. I think it would be. It's crazy, and I think yeah, if it warrants something. Yeah, it's like a big gaudy floating pulpit. Yeah,
That's
and
right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel it would be pretty
yeah,
great to get something like this and convert it for some like Arbites, RBTs, whatever the
yeah. Like the
Galactic Police
judges.
are or something.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
work
I
pretty well
feel
for them.
you could make some kind of crazy over the top thing for that, and would be fun. So like, and the little like skeletons holding the heavy flamers and stuff looks kind of cool. Like, it's certainly ridiculous, but I feel it was done in a subtle, or maybe not subtle, but like the weapons and a bunch of the elements of it like aren't as over the top as they could have been, and so I think ultimately it looks good.
Yeah, it looks kind of like powerful and ridiculous at the same time. I like the look of the double-headed eagle. Like it looks nice. Um, the the saint or the person on the vehicle looks good, and she also looks um quite different from like the other character models. She's holding this kind of weird, stupid scepter. Her iron halo looks good, and she obviously has the fire and stuff on her backpack because why wouldn't you have that? Why wouldn't you have that? Yeah, I like it. I like it. It looks good. And yeah, I think it would be fun to kind of use this and make something for the Adeptus Arbites. So yeah, we'll see what happens to it. Oh yeah, Ward Sylvania, you say seems to have a lack of detail. Yeah, so that is interesting. Like I feel for how over the top it is surprisingly clean and like simple in a way. Which I think sort of does it a lot of favors, at least in my mind. And then I think at the top of the post they have an image where you see it. Yeah, you see it with like an army of sisters. Um, so you can get a better sense of like the size of it compared to the models. And
I'm back. My
hey,
computer
Eric.
crashed.
And actually, you know what? It's also interesting, the little flying pulpit. It might not even be that much of a pain to transport in a case because it's pretty, despite it being big, it's pretty compact.
It doesn't. I mean, it has those little like razors or whatever, but they're not like super tall or whatnot. So yeah, it might not be the most terrible thing.
So yeah, all of this stuff they showed before the pre-release, it's the pre-order itself, and then on the day of the pre-order, after I feel it kind of went poorly for a lot of people, they posted another post to be kind of like an apology and assure people that other stuff will be coming out. And it was interesting. They posted it, but I think it was only up for like an hour or so before it was taken down, and then it was reposted on Monday. And in it,
Yeah.
yeah, like they actually apologized, which they didn't really need to do. But they then kind of assured people that, hey, yeah, like we kind of showed you before, um, we're gonna be releasing the multi-part versions of the models and they're cool too, so don't be too upset. Um, and yeah, kind of as we talked about it, I think I overall like the look of these better than the ones in the box set itself. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I guess they also showed some more pictures, or at least one other picture of the Seraphim. Um,
Did this stuff, Vox, did this stuff leak on 4chan? I know the stuff that we just talked about with the pulpit and such, all that stuff was shown off because leaks went out, and then like later in the day they released it. I'm not sure if this stuff, maybe this was leaked too. Like it wouldn't surprise me because it happens a lot. But yeah, I guess as we're gonna talk these Seraphim here, like what do people think about these? Do people like them? And maybe the main thing is, what do people think about these flight stands? Do people like these flight stands? Like I know maybe they were first introduced for Dark Imperium with those big flying.
I think they were.
I don't even know. I don't even know what they're called. The Primaris things.
I
Do
haven't
people
really
like those?
dealt with them too much. They look pretty good, and in many regards, they look a little more natural than them trying to create some like rubble or like whatever that they're standing on. It still is the type of thing where it never really looks that great with the flying stands.
I feel these poses do look relatively natural for them kind of flying about. And yeah, Eli, you mentioned interceptors. Yeah, I guess that is what they're called. I felt some of them, their poses looked odd at
Yeah.
times, whereas I
Well,
feel
so these are very much they're gunfighters, and I feel a lot of their poses and stuff are very much like you can tell they're gunfighters, and to the point that all of the different poses they are shooting only one of the pistols at a time. So they'd probably shoot one and then shoot the other, which I feel is more along the lines of like if you were shooting two pistols like that, that's probably what you'd be doing. And so I think the poses look pretty good. Um, Even on these, it looks like the body armor that you might have different options of the type of body armor. One that looks more like the classic System of Battle armor, and the other that doesn't quite have the sculpted breasts, which is good. Hopefully that means they just have multiple options for you to choose from. But
yeah,
we'll have to
yeah,
see.
would be good.
And then I guess they also showed another version of the like their little walker, the Penitent engine, and I don't quite know what I think of this. Um,
It's nice to see that, first of all, that they just are making a multi-part kit, which it would have been hard to believe that they wouldn't, but and that they added another unit type, one that actually has guns. But
yeah, I mean,
um,
I like what they did for like the rider on the front of it. Like I feel this makes a little more sense, like how the rider is kind of like wired and strapped in there. Um, the weapons on this to me look really bad, like and really over the top. Like the heavy bolters are way too big. The barrels of the heavy bolters, as we essentially every time we talk about heavy bolters, complain about, like the bore of the barrel itself is
like about because
way
you
too
can
big.
literally see the rounds there because they didn't like sort of armor it, or so like you can see the rounds, and probably like
Four of them,
four of them at least could go down the bore of that. Like, really
yeah.
weird, really
So
weird. I do like though that there are these like ammunition hoppers like kind of mounted to the arms, so that they would actually be able to carry like some more ammunition. Although the
not
rounds are
much
still
the
so
size of those
large that it still
rounds.
wouldn't be much, but at least they did it.
Like I feel if the ammo feed was armored and you couldn't see the size of each round, and you made the bore of the barrel itself a lot smaller, I think it would look pretty good.
Yeah.
But it does also look a little weird that it has these heavy bolters. Then that wasn't enough. So it also they added these like
Flails, and it is there
flails
almost like
and
a chain blade thing there too, maybe?
I don't
I
think so. I hope not. I it can't really
I guess it's
tell.
probably just like spiked stuff on there, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if like, do you think the shooting version only they have this more armored cage that they're in, or do you think
Yeah,
it's
I
just
don't know.
they have like multiple options, some of which look like this, and hopefully they just have a bunch of different options. I feel that would be nice.
No, yeah, I mean you're right, Fox. Like the flails themselves, it does look like there's some mechanism built into the arms that would actually like kind of
Make
make
it
the
work
flails
okay.
continue to like flail, as you might say. So they
So, yeah,
certainly put a lot of effort and thought into trying to design the whole thing. Um,
yeah,
and yeah,
which
I
is good.
appreciate that. It looks good.
I feel if like you did have an army of this, it would be another one of those things. Like I don't think I wouldn't want flails like that because they would just break.
Break
Oh,
them
and
right off.
is it just me or does it look like when they photoshopped this to like add the white background, they didn't put white the same color white on the one flail in between them? I'm describing this poorly,
Oh, I see what
but
you're
like
saying.
the right arm,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's funny. Which
yeah.
towards that end, it's interesting that and like some of the other pictures of like individual sisters, like you can see like dust and stuff on the models,
Dust and
which
hairs and stuff. It's like, yep, they're real models. That's what they look like.
yeah, that's
Can't
what
get rid of that
happens.
shit.
Yeah, it's hard. Or like you take pictures of your models and then when looking over them, you're like, ah, shit, there's stuff all over these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, pinning some of the stuff would be helpful.
Essential.
I mean, admittedly, I feel even these flails are probably less fragile than some of the other things, like the Sisters Repentia, the one with the whips, like those whips. Like if you
Yeah.
actually were like traveling around, going to tournaments and such, like they would like you would have to have your plastic glue and super glue just ready for like the stuff to break constantly as you're
Oh yeah, that
transporting them
reminds me of
around.
one of the times I went and played a game of Warcry. My opponent was using his unmade warband, and just in that single 35-minute game, he broke off. He broke several of their spears and stuff. And I mean they are really thin.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
I mean he wasn't being super careful, but I feel
that's
any
sort of just the nature of it.
yeah.
And like for a bunch of the stuff, like as much as I would like blades and stuff to be thinner and it to be scaled better in that sense, like it wouldn't in a lot of cases it wouldn't really be sensible for like gaming
Yeah.
pieces. Maybe it's fine if you're making more like display stuff, which is more what we tend towards. But so I mean, it makes sense. So I feel they're kind of pushing the limit as to what things that would make sense for
Yeah. The
the stuff
codex,
they're
the
making.
cover of the Sister of Battle Codex looks good. It looks really good, as does the cover for the limited edition book that comes in the game. So it looks like they did a good job all around with the stuff.
Wartsylvania asked what we think about the art at the beginning of the post.
Let me go back and look at that. With the saint or whatnot. Does it not get larger? It doesn't get
If you
larger.
right click on it and have it open on a new tab, it gets slightly larger.
Oh yeah, that's better. It's good. It's pretty good.
I like all the statues and stuff in the background, and even just all the sort of the processionals
Yeah, like they're
with.
carrying some what looked to be maybe the tomb or the coffin of certain members.
I particularly like that you can see that big ivory sister banner in the background there. So they do use. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it
it's
looks good, and it's
true.
nice to see some of these elements of I'm just gonna say their lives and like sort of the ceremonies and
It
whatnot,
very much kind
rather
of
than
has the
just
look of Age of Sigmar to it to me.
Yeah, the big saint there.
Yeah, that's Age of Sigmar right there. Age of Sigmar. And who knows? We're soon gonna get some stuff from Warhammer, the old world back. That's pretty
Not
cool, right?
soon though.
Yeah.
Or not supposedly, not really soon. But yeah, I don't. Are people excited about that? That they're bringing back the old world? Are people happy that it's coming back? I don't know if I care too much either way. It seems somewhat interesting, like they're kind of backsliding from this Defiant thing. Like we're branching out into new territory. But I mean, the fact that they've been continuing to publish old world like video games for a while now, like I guess it doesn't surprise me much, but I don't know, it's interesting. And like if they do just bring it back as like another like perhaps a more complicated like army battle game, like I could see some people being a little miffed, like I just like broke my models off their base square bases to add, and I don't even play this game, and now like it's coming back to something that I would have been happier to play. I don't know, is interesting.
Well, I don't know. I remember there's a pretty famous video on, or maybe not famous, but I think a lot of people have watched when they announced Age of Sigmar. Someone took their poorly painted like army or whatnot and just set it on fire, which was obviously stupid. But um,
Yeah, I don't know. It gives the opportunity that they could re-release more time, so that's exciting.
it'll be Warhammer's Horus Heresy. Yeah,
Well, I think
that's an
they even
interesting
mentioned.
way to put
I
it.
think they even mentioned it that way. That's kind of how they were looking at it, and I mean, I feel that kind of fits. But I
But
feel
like,
yeah, it would be
it's not going to have the same type of following as the Horus Heresy stuff. It like couldn't.
no.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, no, I don't think it could. But I feel the fact that they're like acknowledging it again means stuff like more time could happen because clearly, like
That's
they
true.
do see a value in skirmish games and like Warcry, Kill Team, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So this gives them the opportunity that if they would want to do something like that, they could. So I mean, I think that that's fine.
The
It is
art.
interesting that I would sort of would have rather they, when they announced this, they gave like some details about it, like not much, but like a little bit to like, is it the intent to like, I mean,
No,
I
what?
guess comparing it to Horus Heresy, perhaps that does suggest that they are going to take it back to like a slightly more complex rule heavy game.
Where did they
Not
even?
that really Horus Heresy is
Where did they even
necessarily,
announce
but
this? Like, I'm trying to find it.
somewhere on the community page. But it doesn't say a whole lot.
Well, whatever. It's somewhere on there. Yeah.
Yeah, Eli, I sort of tend to agree that like if it's 3 years away, it maybe isn't necessarily worth bringing up. But I guess they just want to drum up hype for it.
Or get
So
people pissed off. But I don't think there are enough people that would care either way that it would
yeah, enough to.
make much of a difference.
It would be interesting to see if do we think it'll be primarily a GW thing or if it'll be a Forge World thing.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully,
true.
it's not a Forge World thing because, like, I feel they're already stretched pretty thin with
Yeah,
all
they
the like
are.
to the point that like the Horus Heresy is like practically not even they practically don't even support it anymore. I mean, they
Yeah.
do, but like compared with all those other games they're releasing, I feel it's like maybe once a month you get like one new Dreadnought or something.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Wow, Wordsylvania, like the Warhammer Fantasy reboot, entirely Stormcast versus Stormcast. Damn,
God, I
that
hope
would be
so.
awesome. Well, yes, actually, that's a great idea. Like, well, even if it's not for the reboot, like in like a couple years when they want to like update the storyline for Age of Sigmar and move it along, that's what it could be. Stormcast fighting Stormcast. Like they always
God, I
want
hope
more
so.
opportunity to sell and make more Stormcast.
Yeah. What about those new Dark Angels? Are you talking about the Forge World Dark Angels?
So such quality. Such quality.
These Forge World Dark Angels? Ugh.
Oh shit. That's also we mentioned a little bit earlier that we're taking part in that like Hobby Vice's Secret Santa thing. The person we won't give away who we're sending the stuff to, but the person in their sort of description of the things they like, this sort of thing, mentioned that they like Space Wolves. So like we have to send them one of those because it's like as like kind of slightly
Oh
trolling
God,
them
that's a
because
pretty
like
good troll.
we have to do it. I mean,
That's
we're
a
not
good
going to do anything
troll.
else with those. So like we have to put that in one of them in there that
I mean, I question at this point. I got it.
what
Yeah.
if we could I mean, it would also be funny to put in three of them, all three. But
That would
like
be
no one
funny.
that would be
That's too much. No one wants
sort of
that.
cruel to have those all those.
Yeah,
But we have to put at least one in
that's a
among
good
other
idea.
things.
That's a good idea.
Well, but I mean, towards that end, like we couldn't get them a Forge World Space Wolf thing because those models are so terrible.
They're awful.
I
I
guess
will
Lehman
say,
Russ
as
is
bad
nice, but
as these Forge World models look, um, they the casts are really good, and I think the model itself in person looks a little nicer than the painted versions that you see online. So for
that's
what it's
good.
worth, like that's it. I feel that's at least worth something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Warsylvania, it's true. Those people might want those Forge World Space Wolves. You do never know.
Yeah, the amount of things you could send them that are all troll worthy, but Space Wolves players wouldn't understand is trolling. That's
Yeah.
true. No, we're not giving them those wolf models. Lehman Russ's wolves, like that. Fuck.
I would feel bad giving anyone such a thing. I would also feel bad giving Forge World money for them.
They're so bad. They're
Yeah, I
so
would
bad.
yeah, I would feel bad about that. The Hobby Vice thing made a big deal about not sending people conversions.
Yeah, they did.
That people don't want conversions, which I thought was sort of funny. But I mean, I understand the general principle because it's sort of hard to control the quality that could go through that. Um,
Yeah, it is. It because yeah, I mean, not all conversions are created equal, and like you never quite really know, and like um yeah, Schwarzenegger, you said like some people like the old Space Marines and their wacky, horrible proportions. So like, teach their own.
Yeah, nah, I mean, it's something certainly a lot of people spent many years with them and like, maybe have sort of a charm to them.
Well, I don't think it's not that you can't do conversions for it. It's just if you
They
do, make sure like they're
they're
actually
actually good
good conversions.
and not just like, oh, I pulled together some shit I didn't want from my bits box and put together a space marine.
Yeah.
Probably. But I feel like if you did something nice, like they would want that.
It sounds like we need an 828 Secret Santa for people like us. That's a good idea. That would be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
That's a good
That,
idea. I feel we have to do something that we should do for next year is kind of try and have some more like collaborative like modeling things. Like I feel it would be fun to convert a bunch of different models and send them to different people like our viewers, people like you, and have you like paint them and kind of just work off of that. Like I think that would be fun.
yeah, it could be fun.
Bog says chaos spawn made of a green stuff ball roll bits box. That'd be pretty cool. I'd like it.
Yeah,
Eli says he
pretty cool.
only wants unconverted terrible space marines. Well, noted. Noted. We can send you plenty of them.
I honestly don't even think I have many anymore.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of assembled ones. They'd be good.
That's sadly true.
I still have a fair amount.
That's sadly true.
Yeah, okay, so that's something next year maybe we'll start doing that. And actually, as a matter of fact, so part of the idea of our conversion corner section was to like make semi quick conversions. And the thought was we'd eventually just start sending those to people to do what they want with them. So I feel I need to try a little harder to make more of them and kind of make it more of a monthly thing.
Yeah, I should try to do that too.
You could make them too, Eric.
Yeah, I need to start. Now that I've
Eli says, please don't send me those.
Nah, we won't. Or will we?
Yeah, or will we? We'll see. We'll see.
In the subject of, or I mean, not that we were necessarily talking about this, but there was a new episode of Trapped Under Plastic, that podcast from Scott, the miniature maniac, that guy. And this episode was kind of talking about about conversions and that sort of thing. And it was vaguely interesting. I feel the podcast as a whole is pretty good. But in it, he mentions modern synthesis, which was kind of neat. And Colonel, or the German guy who kit bashes like everything in rapid pace, he was mentioned in it as well, which was kind of neat.
It's the episode called Conversions, the Real Art Form.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to it.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny too, because in it, Scott talks about how he realized that like he doesn't like watching miniature painting videos. and how they're boring. And he said he's come to realize, because he must watch a lot of different sort of creation videos, whether like carpentry stuff or illustrating, things like that. But he said he thinks that maybe one of the things that maybe would make sort of painting videos and stuff more interesting is if they like spent more time talking about maybe the conversion process and such that like you could actually see kind of more of a creation thing rather than simply a paint scheme. And I think that's an interesting thought. And
I mean, there are people who do that, but I mean,
what's the guy who
makes all the cool conversions and the paint jobs with like the that Orc War boss with the
little holographic thing, and there was the one Night Lords dude who's like walking on ice, and there's a blood angel kind of trapped underneath it. What's his name?
Yeah, he's so good.
Oh, I think I have a link here.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so I feel that could be an interesting thing to do videos kind of about converting stuff. Although I feel it is interesting, like depending on the level of like depth or of the conversions, like some of it like it like takes so long. Although I guess admittedly, even painting videos, like for some of it, like it's often makes more sense to like cut out some of like the painting stuff and not necessarily have it in real time and show like every little thing, but just talking and showing more important elements.
I mean, yeah, like I don't. If I tried to make videos of like my sculpting and conversion process, like, oh my God, they would be so boring.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess if you edited it enough, like you could probably make it compelling. Maybe. But and then I guess a lot of it would probably come down to like if you had good equipment, you set up the videos well and edited well, they could be really good, or they could just be kind of it's something I'll put on in the background and kind of listen to someone ramble on about something, but I won't really pay that much attention to it.
Yeah. I feel, and that's just like anything. If you to do videos like that, that would be just a huge commitment of time.
Yeah.
That would take away from actually doing the hobby related stuff, which would be difficult. And to like actually do the editing and stuff well it would just be a lot of work.
Yeah. So actually, this is something that I could actually ask the stream. Coming up, since it's the end of the year is rapidly coming, and soon I'm going to be spending a lot of my time drawing holiday like greeting cards. Is that something, would people be interested in me trying to stream some of that stuff with me like drawing cards of like dinosaurs and amphibians and stuff in like Santa hats and sleds and shit? I might also draw like a more 40K themed or like science themed cards and stuff too. But I feel particularly in December, most of my free time will be spent doing stuff like that. And I guess would anybody be interested in seeing stuff like that? Because I could probably stream some of that stuff and it might be kind of fun to like laugh about that stuff. And I mean, I'm sure some of the viewers like you might have fun, like ideas and stuff with stuff that I could draw. Um, and I guess a lot of you probably already know this, but I have an Instagram account which I think is called The Killing Cold, and that I have a lot of my, or at least some of the cards that I've drawn in years past. um, oh, I guess I always every year I draw at least one Star Wars related one, typically a snowman of sorts.
Yeah, you can probably bring up some of that, right?
Oh yeah, I should just bring it up. That's true.
And I mean, I feel it could just be a stream where we could talk about anything and everything, including 40K related stuff. So,
Here it is. Yeah. Last year, the main theme for the cards was of like dinosaurs and stuff, and they ended up taking me a long time. And I didn't draw nearly as many as I was hoping to draw. um,
I feel the Ankylosaurus is one of the best.
oh, yeah, the Ankylosaurus, where is he? Oh, yeah, he turned out pretty nicely. And I guess all the cards I like draw them and then I color them with colored pencil because that's kind of the medium I have. Eventually I should learn how to use like Photoshop or some other.
Do it
Um,
digitally.
yeah, that would probably be better, but I would have to teach myself all that shit, and that'll probably
Yeah,
take a long time.
yeah, it's true.
Oh, here's one I drew of. I'm an electron microscopist in my like day job, and here's one of a snowman with a an electron microscope made out of snow. I'll probably draw another similar one this year. Oh, it's a rifleman. Oh, he's this little bird's like one of the smallest birds. I think one of the smallest songbirds. It's from New Zealand. Yeah, so I'll be doing that.
Have you decided a theme this year, or are you just gonna do
I think I'm
random?
just gonna draw a whole bunch of stuff, and it's not gonna be like heavily themed like it has been in some other years. It's like I
I see
remember,
the Kylo Ren snowman.
yeah. Well, I remember years ago, one of the themes was birds, and I just drew all birds, and like birds are, I feel they're one of the best because you can pretty quickly draw a bird doing some holiday-esque thing. Like they're a lot easier to draw than like dinosaurs and amphibians and shit like that. So like they're just so much easier. So I'll probably draw some birds to start out just because they'll get me back in the scheme of drawing and stuff again.
Get him out of the
Um,
way.
yeah, because yeah, I don't know. It's kind of bad. I feel I essentially don't draw anything all year until like the end of November.
Not even Inktober, Adam.
No, I actually do stuff like that, but I just don't. So yeah, I don't know. So oh, thanks, Wardsylvania. I mean, yeah, I in Vox like the three of us, we grew up loving like reptiles and amphibians and stuff. And so that was always, I feel, as soon as we started to draw, we would draw like frogs and stuff and cards with frogs. And so, yeah, okay, so that's what should happen. Um, everyone here should hassle me and force me to do Ink 28 October next year, I should do it because it would be good, and the more that I actually continue to draw and stuff, the easier it'll be to convince me to continue to do it. And
Well, so Adam, what do you if you do a Star Wars themed one this year? What is it going to be? Is it going to be The Mandalorian?
I mean, I already drew the Boba Fett one years ago, so like the Mandalorian's kind of just a cop out. So I
It is
don't know what I
basically
could
the same. It is kind of a cop out.
Lifeboat says you should make an illustrated adaptation of Kanye West's opera. That's funny. That's funny. But yeah, so, God, I knew someone was gonna say fucking Yoda, and I mean, I could easily make like a snow Yoda, but like, I don't know, fucking Yoda. I don't know about Yoda. I don't know. Yes, I don't know. How to think about it. Like, what are other Star Wars
You should start doing
semi-reg-
all the bounty hunters.
I could,
Dengar
or I
and
could do like a Snow IG-88. That would be fun. I kind of like the idea of IG-88.
an IG robot was in the first Mandalorian episode, Adam.
I thought that was true. I watched the one trailer and it looked that way. Was it? Was it
It wasn't an
IG-88?
88. It wasn't IG-88. It was.
Okay.
I mean, it was a similar type of robot, but wasn't the same.
I saw a picture of the baby Yoda, but I don't really know anything more about the baby Yoda other than that I saw the one picture. I think Eric knows more.
I mean, there really wasn't much in it.
Okay.
It exists. And the Mandalorian's taking it around.
Oh.
Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Of the ones that I have on my Instagram, I don't think I certainly don't have like pictures of all of the Star Wars ones that I drew. Like I drew there's one of Darth Vader that I drew, which is an obvious choice, and I don't think I have it on Instagram here. I don't. Maybe I'll have to try and find it. Oh God, the little one of the frog wrapping an Amazon box. What do you think's in that Amazon box? It's probably something stupid.
Yeah, oh, actually, let me.
Almost certainly something stupid. So that's true. Like I feel I have not done a whole lot with like snow droids and stuff, but another shit like that. Bosk. Yeah, Bosk, he's cool. Oh. Oh yeah, here's another. I don't even. When did I draw this one?
2015.
Yeah, shit. I should probably just start posting some of the other ones that I did a long time ago. Oh shit. Oh yeah, there was for a long time there was always a running joke where I'd always draw one of like a drunken snowman that was like had fallen over. Oh, that's good. I think one year I drew like a snowman that was hit by a truck. A snowman interrogation droid. Oh, there are so many. Yeah, that's true. There are so many good ideas. Yeah, there are lots of funny things that I can do. Wow, yeah, there are tons that I didn't actually. I never posted on Instagram. Yeah, I should post these. Maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll start doing that.
Well, you could, yeah, probably have enough. It could be like an advent calendar every day,
No, I mean
posting
that's true.
something. Yeah, nah, this the one snowman does like Maker's Mark.
Yeah, he's still smiling too. Oh yeah, one of the years I drew a whole bunch. I drew like they were all insects. They were fun.
Oh yeah, Warts of Any. The first episode of The Mandalorian was relatively good. It wasn't like remarkably good, but it was kind of. I felt it was somewhat Star Wars back to the roots of it, and somewhat kind of like a Western sort of thing. And like, so I feel it's worth watching. Um, I wouldn't. I feel the thing to do is wait until all the episodes are out and sign up for the week free of Disney Plus and then watch it and then cancel it.
That
That's what I
sounds
would
like what you should
do.
do.
That's what I
That
would
sounds
do.
like what you should do. That's what I'm planning to do. I mean, it looks good, and in terms of like Star Wars-esque stuff, it seems like one of
Well,
the
I feel
more
it's
interesting things.
yeah, I feel it's more interesting. It's not like wildly focused on just like Jedi and whatnot. And so it's focused on other elements of the universe, the Star Wars universe. And it's like I feel like the most recent trilogy is maybe a little bit more focused on like teenagers and whatnot. Whereas I feel this is
Yeah.
isn't doesn't have that focus, which I think is nice.
No, they're not doing the Netflix style thing. Which I
Yeah, I
feel
think every
sort of makes
Friday or
sense.
something they're releasing a new episode. But they're like the first one was maybe 40 minutes long, the second one was like 30 minutes, so they're not that long.
And I think they're like supposed to be like 8 episodes or something.
It's at
Or
least that. I thought
effective.
maybe it was even like 12 or something.
I had heard 8, but hopefully it's more than 8.
Yeah, I don't know.
No disintegrations.
Yeah, they bring that up.
I heard that.
He says, or the Mandalorian, I mean, maybe that's slight spoilers. Well, he
Life
says he
Lifeboat
disintegrated
says
some stuff.
they are making season 2. That does not surprise me. That does not surprise me.
Well, they kind of mention elements of Mandalorian culture, but they don't like beat you over the head with it.
That's good.
So I feel they're. I don't see how it could have been much better. I guess maybe like
Okay.
could reasonably much better. So yeah,
That's good.
and Werner Herzog is in it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
he's like an old Empire guy, which is pretty hilarious.
That's great.
He's good in it.
That's
But yeah,
great.
so I don't know. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sort of excited to watch it. We'll see. Okay. Well, so maybe we should think of wrapping up the stream pretty soon. Like, I think we've largely talked about stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'll consider trying to at least stream some of my card drawing endeavors. We'll see how. I feel the setup that I have now, I should be able to stream it pretty easily. Um, and then yeah, um, we can discuss all sorts of different stuff.
Hmm.
So I think it could be fun. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It's been fun. Um,
Yeah, it has been.
we will certainly be back again probably next week at the same time. And who knows what we're going to talk about, but it'll be something.
It will be something.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks again for joining us. Keep on enjoying the hobby. Um, we'll see if I watch The Mandalorian. I probably won't,
But yeah, and
but
let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about in any of these streams or anything